Hey guys, welcome to our Thursday video for week 1 of March curriculum. Before we get going on our lesson today, I'd like you to get yourself warmed up. So start with 25 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 pivot front ups, swinging that leg 10 times on each side, and then finishing up with about 30 seconds of jogging with high knees or doing mountain climbers or holding a plank. You can pick what that last exercise is going to be, but I want you to get your body moving and warmed up. Ready, set, go. All right, so first thing we're going to go over today is a self-defense technique called eye spears. And really, that's exactly what it is. It is attacking the eyes of your assailant. So if a bad guy is attacking you, putting you in danger, if someone's trying to kidnap you, take you from your family, if someone's trying to do something to your body that you're not okay with, that you need to stop, you can hurt this person. And a great way to hurt that person is by attacking their eyes. Nobody can flex their eyes so hard that it doesn't hurt, right? Because if someone's really strong, you can punch them in the stomach as many times as you want and it doesn't hurt them because they're flexing their muscles and they can take it. Your eyes, there's no way to do that. Your eyes are a very sensitive part of your body. If you've ever gotten like a eyelash or a speck of dirt or sand in your eye, it hurts really bad. It makes it really hard to function and to use your eye. All you can think about is rubbing your eye, and it's really hard to do anything else. So today, I'm going to show you 2 techniques for doing an eye spear, for attacking the eye. And it really just depends on how you hold your hand, okay? One way that I like to do an eye spear is called beaks, okay? And basically what that is you take your fingers, bring them all together, and you bring your thumb up underneath. Now, you want it to be as straight of a beak as possible, because if I go like this, yeah, I've got my fingers and thumb together, but now when I hit something, my fingers are just going to bend and it's not going to stab the eyeball like I need it to, right? Remember, this is called an eye spear. So spears jam in, they go straight in and stab into it. So I know that's kind of icky to think about, but if you're in a dangerous situation, you got to do whatever it takes to get away, okay? So the beaks, bring those fingers together and bring the thumb underneath, and see how my fingers are nice and straight, so that now when I hit something, those fingers stay straight instead of having them bent and then just curling in. The idea is you got to stab all the way into that eyeball socket, okay? Now when we go for an eye spear, you can't just peck, right? I know we call these beaks, but they're not chicken beaks. These are spear beaks. Think of like there are some birds that usually have like the really long skinny legs, and they live in like water, like marshy areas, and they use their beak and they stab in and grab the thing. They don't just go boop boop boop. We're not chickens pecking at the ground. We're big, maybe it's a great heron, I don't know. It's gonna stab that beak in, only instead of going down like a bird catching a fish, we're going to the eye. We're going all the way into the eye as hard and fast as we can, right? And so you don't want to just use your arm. You want to reach out with your whole body. No! Stabbing it all the way in there. And you can even do a double eye spear. No! Right? So that means you lean back and go all the way in with double eyes, or just one with the other hand, okay? But you got to make sure you have that beak nice and tight, okay? Now, the other eye spear technique that works well is the thumb, okay? So it's basically like a punch, only instead of having your thumb wrapped around the fingers as you should if you're punching, the thumb is sticking out, and you lead that thumb, and you want that thumb to hit right here, right beside their nose, so that it goes beside their nose and into the eye socket. And the idea is, this is going to sound icky, guys, but you shove that thumb in as deep as you can. You want to damage their eyeball enough so that they will leave you alone, so that you can get away to safety, okay? So I know not everybody has one of these guys here, but this is Bob. He's going to help me show you those eye spear techniques, okay? So whether it's the beaks or the thumbs, okay, the idea is to get it all the way in the corner of the eye, right? We don't want to go straight for the pupil because that's a really tiny, hard target to miss. And we don't want to go out to the side because then there's a good chance we'll just slide off to the outside. So you want to take that thumb or that beak and you want to aim, even if you hit right on the top and you keep pushing, your fingers will slide down into that corner of the eye where you need to go. Okay, so I know not everybody's got a bob at home, but if you do have one, this is a great way to practice eye spears. If you don't have a bob at home, you can use those punch mitts to just practice hitting hard. Remember, if you're doing a double, you need to have your hands close together, right? If you're going like this with your hands way out here, I don't know anybody who's got eyes this far apart, but most people's eyes are about this far apart. And if you have them together and you come to the middle, boom, and then they go right in those corners there. And that's what you're aiming for, okay? So whether it's beaks, no, 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 or those thumbs, no. Thumbs also work really good if maybe you're in really close, maybe they're grabbing onto you, your arms are stuck, and you can just reach up and go, and shove those thumbs in. I know it's icky to think about, guys, but this is a very effective way to get the person who's harming you to let you go. Because if they grab their eyes and they're going, oh man, that's your ticket to get out of there and go to safety. Okay? So eye spears, thumbs to the eyes, beaks to the eyes. So if you have punch mitts, you can do a fun drill where you're jogging, and then they flash the mitts and you go, no, and jogging. Maybe they just flash one mitt, so you eye spear with one hand, and then you keep jogging, and if they say sprawl, you drop down on your belly, come back up, and keep jogging, and when they flash a mitt, whether it's one or two, go for that eye spear using the beaks or the thumbs, and have some fun with it. Ready, set, go. All right, guys, next up, we're gonna review side kick. So I know we worked on side kicks last month, but we're going to actually take that and bring it into this month so that we can end up making a kicking combination, same side kicking combination with that pivot front kick. So just a quick review of the side kick. Same 4 parts. We've got chamber, kick, retract back to balance. Only thing that changes from the pivot front kick is now that we're kicking to the side, which means we also need to turn and look. So chamber right up front, nice strong foot position. As you look over your shoulder, extend the leg out, retract back to balance. Okay, I know, so if you're brand new joining us, a great way to practice these and getting all 4 parts in is to grab a hold of something stable like a chair, back of the couch, hand on the wall, railing, something, and practice getting those 4 parts in where you bring your knee up front, and then you extend the foot to the side. Notice my foot position is horizontal, okay? If I turn this way and and turn my body towards the kick, then it turns my foot up and it's not a side kick anymore. So when you chamber, it's almost like you're turning your shoulder away, keeping that foot horizontal. And then you retract right back to that chamber position and set your foot down. So I want you to spend some time practicing those side kicks. If you have a helper, if you guys have some punch mitts, they can hold a target for you, and you could practice targeting at different levels, okay? Starting out slow, extend it out, bring it back in. As you get comfortable with all 4 parts, then you can start going faster. No! Right? But still make sure you get all those 4 parts. Just because you go faster doesn't mean you go, no, and just let your leg drop, right? Really work on keeping that balance, chamber, kick, retract, and set it back down, getting all 4 parts in there. So have some fun with that side kick. Do about 10 to 15 on each side, some slow, some fast, feeling all 4 parts with a little bit of targeting. Enjoy that side kick. Ready, set, go. Okay guys, so we're gonna spend a little bit more time reviewing that forward roll we started working on last video. The forward roll is different from a somersault in that our head doesn't go down on the ground at all. All of the rolling takes place over the upper back and shoulders, okay? So I had you guys start out last week facing sideways and rolling like that, okay? And I still want you to practice doing it that way if you're still having trouble with it. I want you to make sure that you're actually putting your shoulder onto the ground, not your elbows, and not sitting back like this, because that's not the right motion, okay? I want you to tuck your arms in and then put your shoulder on the ground and come up on your knees. You got to keep your knees tucked in tight. The last couple days I saw some kids going like this. They start out really good and then they let their legs fly out, and then you can't come up on your knees anymore. So you got to keep those knees tucked in tight as you go over your shoulder and come up on your knees, okay? Now, if you're getting the hang of that, now what you can do is start facing forward, facing the direction you want to go, and you're still going to put your shoulder down, but now instead of going sideways, I'm going to kind of twist around like this to put my shoulder on the ground. And then you got to still push off your feet to get up and over, rolling on your back. Your head shouldn't be touching the ground at all. So one more time, if you're going to start facing forward, you're going to take your shoulder, take your arm, and you kind of reach around to the opposite side, and then you put your shoulder, you can have this hand to kind of brace, right? But you got to put your shoulder down, roll over. Again, keeping those legs nice and tucked tight. Practice going over the shoulders, not your bottom, not your elbows, right? Tuck in tight. If you need to kind of reach out as you go down, that's okay. But keeping the head off the ground, going over just the shoulder. One more time. Kind of reach over to your opposite side. Okay, you can have this hand up, put the shoulder on the ground, and come up. All right, so have some fun practicing with it. It's challenging, but once you get used to rolling over the shoulders instead of your head, it'll start to flow better. So practice, have a nice, safe, soft place that you can practice it. Maybe if there's a really big bed in your house, just be careful of the edge. Make sure there's a grown-up in there, making sure you don't fall off. Or if you have a nice carpeted area that you can practice on, okay? Going over the shoulder, your head doesn't touch the ground at all. All right, have some fun with that. Ready, set, go. All right, and for our sheet today, we're going to talk a little bit about the definition of courage and then number one. So starting us off with the definition is the ability to face fear or danger. And the second part is bravery. Okay, so courage and bravery are basically the same thing. Now, it doesn't mean you're not afraid, right? Because it says you're facing fear. That usually means that you are afraid. You're afraid of something and you decide to go for it anyway. All right, think about maybe you're afraid to take the training wheels off your bike because you're just afraid you're going to fall. But you know what? You'll never learn how to ride it if you don't take them off. And so you got to decide, okay, I might fall, put on some safety gear, wear a long sleeve, wear pants, and be prepared. Like, okay, if I fall, it might hurt, but I'm going to get back on, and I'm going to keep trying until I get it. Okay, there's other things like maybe if you like to go rock climbing or you've never done it before and you go to the indoor rock climbing place and you're afraid of getting high, but you decide, you know what, I'm going to put that harness on. I got that rope attached to me. It's going to keep me safe. I'm not going to fall and get hurt. So I'm going to just try and climb as high as I can, right? So facing the fear, it means you're afraid of something. Maybe you're afraid to get up in front of the class and have to say something. Well, guess what? Come in class this month, probably on test day, you're going to be getting up in front of the class and doing something. Because you know what? One of the number one fears that almost all people have is getting in front of people and having to talk to people. So that's something a lot of people are afraid of, but we're going to work on that this month in class. Okay? So facing your fears, not running from them, and then bravery. Oh, sorry. That was number one. Facing my fears, not running from them. Really is almost the same as the definition, okay? If something scares you and you just run away from it, then you won't grow. You won't become braver. You won't figure out what you can do. If you're afraid to try something new, if you're afraid to try a new food, you can't just run away from the dinner table and say, I'm scared of new food, I'm never going to eat it, right? Well, then how do you find out what you like? You can only find out what you like if you actually try it. So you sit down, put the food on the fork, put the food in your mouth, chew it up, swallow it, and there you go. You faced your fear, you tried something new. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but at least you tried it. And the more you face your fears, the more you try those new things, the more you try to do the hard thing that you're afraid that you might not get right, or you might not learn how to do it, right? If you have someone who's there who's saying, come on, you can do it, I know you can do it, that's a really good chance that that person is going to be there for you. If you mess up, if you don't get it right, they're going to teach you, they're going to encourage you, and they're going to celebrate with you when you conquer that fear, when you face that fear. So even when you're afraid, courage and bravery is going for it anyway. It doesn't mean you're not afraid. Everybody's afraid of different things, but it means you try. You face it and you try. All right, we'll see you next time.